On behalf of the Uniting Church, and for more than 60 years, UnitingCare supports people and families to live life in all its fullness through whatever journey life takes you. Jane had peace of mind when planning to grow her family with one of Queensland's largest not-for-profit private hospital groups. John's kids receive early learning support on their remote property. Anna's foster care family help her feel hopeful for the future. Phone counselling got Jo back on track. Sharon never thought she would get back on a horse again. Tony visits his cardiologist for his regular heart health check. Auntie Janet from Catherine enjoys her weekly home care visits. And Grandpa Jeff's dementia is in good hands at a memory support unit. All across Queensland and the Northern Territory, UnitingCare delivers quality health, aged care, disability and community services as one of the largest charities in Australia. Our people and volunteers provide care and support services that enable you to live your best possible life, whatever your circumstance. For you, your family, your community. To live life in all its fullness. Learn more at unitingcareqld.com.au.
I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the land of the Gubbi Gubbi peoples, and pay my respects to all elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, culture and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples around Australia. Thank you very much for joining me to hear a bit about UnitingCare's journey that we've been going through for our application portfolio management over the past bit of time. Today I want to talk to you a bit about our challenges, our application assessment journeys that we've done, and our introduction of LeanIX. Also a bit about our change to our operating model, and all throughout the presentation you will see how we've started to deliver value in EA, particularly in our application space at UnitingCare. Our challenge, so we have a very large and diverse organisation offering many different types of care to our community. We support around 450,000 people in our community across Queensland and the Northern Territory at some of our own sites and in homes across Queensland and the Northern Territory. We have around 17,000 employees and 9,500 volunteers. And our volunteers are very critical to the way we deliver care across all of our sites. We've been on a journey of merging all of our brands through Lifeline, Blue Care, communities into the one UnitingCare brand, but we recognise that they are still our brands in the community. We've had a spiralling complexity along that journey of all our applications and a lot of costs that have spiralled for us across duplication of applications and a lot of duplicate functionality as well. We had limited visibility of our applications through our sectors and the way we provide care for people through family and disability, our hospitals, our aged care, and our corporate services. We had lots of spreadsheets, lots and lots and lots of spreadsheets. The information was duplicated, it wasn't consistent, and provided us with a lot of challenges around just providing basic information on our applications. We also had a vision for 2030 over the last 2 years, which means our organisation has to have the best applications it can to support our people in the community. We're doing a lot of business planning at the moment. So what does the next 3 years look like? And what does our application portfolio need to do in those next 3 years? And we've had lots of projects that take a lot of discovery just to get them up and running, because we don't have the understanding of our applications, their integrations, and how things are impacted when we do initiate a project. So we have a pretty big portfolio, around 280 known applications, some 350 IT components. We have one managed service provider and 180 other providers that provide support for our applications today. So a pretty diverse application portfolio, and we had to manage it better. So we've been on the journey of looking at our application portfolio for a couple of years now. In 2018, we undertook a stock take and a functionality fit assessment, as well as a technical fit assessment of our entire application portfolio. And that was put into spreadsheets and was, again, difficult to manage. We started to build out a portfolio of work to take advantage of the available funding that we had in an attempt to remediating our aging infrastructure risk that's supporting our application. This is around our SQL Server and our Windows Server infrastructure, as well as the hardware that it's run on. So that's been a journey of 18 months so far. We realised that managing our inventory and infrastructure in spreadsheets wasn't sustainable, so we had to get away from those. And you can see there's a lot of information in this. We're not alone there. I think a lot of organisations have similar tomes of information available to them in spreadsheets. In 2019, we met Citadel, literally next door to us. We didn't know they were there for a while, but they came and provided us with a demo of LeanIX. And at that moment, we realised that we had to manage things better than what we were. And for a lot of people, that change is sometimes difficult to come across and to move forward, but we got there. In 2019, we decided to do a proof of value with Citadel, and we were using LeanIX to do that. So we realised then suddenly, actually, we know more than what we did think we knew, and all of it was tucked away in these spreadsheets. We just couldn't access it. And, like spreadsheets are, we had some very dirty data that we had to clean up. So the proof of value really quickly got us to the point of starting to see some of our technology risk light up and some of our application risk light up really quickly, and we're able to focus in on some of those areas and start to remediate straight away. So in March of 2020, we onboarded LeanIX. So great moment for us. And we moved forward with what we'd done in the proof of concept. So all of the spreadsheets of data that we brought into LeanIX, with the help of LeanIX, we restored our environment and we're able to continue on with that data. The biggest change we had was more around our operating model. So we had to say at some point, when do we stop using the spreadsheets and when do we move to just using LeanIX? We had to move to a centralized analysis-driven approach to really identify and work out which of those applications are in use and how they're being used. But more importantly, where do they fit in the bigger picture of where we're going for 2030 and over the next few years? We have to improve project discovery for applications to understand the impacts. We struggle to find that information today in the way we support our components, how we understand how people use the applications. So there's a lot of information that we need to pull together to do those projects well. We need to actively seek out new opportunities to rationalise or consolidate or decommission our applications within our portfolio. We've taken a view as looking at the costs of our operations, how well the applications fit, both for the business and for us as a technical user base supporting it. But more importantly, what's that customer experience? So how do the users interact? What does it mean for those that we support in the community? It's a pretty big step there to take and understand that. We also introduce an iterative approach to managing the portfolio and the awareness for the application owners. That's a journey we're still on. Just to identify who is an application owner for an application has been a bit of a challenge. People have moved on in the organisation, or they've moved completely away from our organisation, which means we need to find out who's using those applications and who is the owner that really wants to drive the use of it moving forward. But more importantly, we needed a bit more openness and visibility around our portfolio, how much we had, how much it costs us to support, and how we're going to use it into the future, and the risk that's representative of it today. So a lot of change there that we're still undertaking that change. There's obviously a number of things that we need to put in place before we can say, yep, no more spreadsheets, but we're almost there. So what did that mean for the value of EA, particularly in the application space? So we'd had a quick view of our technology risk and our application risk just through the proof of value work that we'd done with Citadel in the December of 2019 and early 2020. And just that information that we had in spreadsheets began to be unlocked, and we could see quite quickly which applications support each of our sectors in the community. So we could see what our hospitals were using, how we support them in that, and for all our other areas as well. So we started to see other risks and costs start to bubble to the surface for us. And it meant that we went, actually, we didn't realise we had risk in that space. We need to think about looking at how we look at that and how we address that risk. And we also, for the first time in a long time, actually provided our board and our executive with the first view of the application risk, which for the UnitingCare board is the first time in my 3 years of being at UnitingCare that they've truly seen what that risk is. So what are we going to do next? We're going to focus more on discovering applications. So there's still a lot of applications out there that we have no idea about. Software as a service that's been onboarded, the information assets that are held in those software as a service, absolutely critical to our operations and serving our customers. We need to look at how we model that information and data, and how we model the interfaces that support the movement of that data between the applications. We also need to look at how or identify which application or which repository holds the source of our information. At the moment, we have multiple sources of truth for our applications. We need to continue the implementation of the new operating model. So obviously there's a lot of change that comes with that. And just continue to maintain the inventory only in LeanIX. So we're almost there on that part of our journey. We need to inject the application portfolio view into our current 3-year business planning cycle. We're right in the middle of that planning cycle. So even the best opportunity for us right now is to provide that information. You can imagine trying to provide that from spreadsheets, and the risk of our portfolio would have been quite a task to do in a very short time frame and understand our technology debt. And we need to keep up with the demand for more and more information. Once this information starts to unlock and they see the value, then we need to move further. We've already started our journey with Signavio, and literally this week. So we're going to start to look at how we integrate our processes into LeanIX and into our application portfolio, and understand how we're using our applications better. So a lot of work still to be done. We're just at the start of our journey, but we're certainly on the right path now for getting great value for our organisation from what we've already invested in our applications, particularly around remediating our risk, consolidating our portfolio, and getting the best applications to meet our needs and support our customers in the community. So I'd like to open up for questions.
All right. First of all, Ross, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Good morning. What time is it in Queensland?
It's the afternoon. We're just about at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's a lovely afternoon here. Still in short sleeves, which is fantastic for winter for us.
We have a lovely morning. The sun is shining, and we are very happy that you started as our first speaker of the EA Connect Days 2020. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's fantastic.
So right now we want to use the time and take the chance to ask some questions. It's the time for our first Q&A session. So I'd like to invite all of our attendees here on site in Bonn. If you have some questions, please do not hesitate. Raise your hands. We have people going around with some microphones. So if you want to ask questions to Ross Francis, you're more than welcome. And of course, ladies and gents, wherever you are linked in online virtually, you can use the Slack channel and our chat function on the streaming platform to ask your questions. We can deliver them immediately to Ross Francis. So, are there any questions in our plenary hall? I will have a look around. Yes. Okay, ich komme mal kurz zu Ihnen und reiche mein Mikro.
Hi, thanks. I'm not pretty sure if it is in online with COVID-19, but okay. I have one question for you. My name is Marco Leng from Viber Acoustic. What was your team finding out this application portfolio? Whom do you involve, and what was the approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So our approach was a pretty simple one. Use the data that we've got. So in the past, we've used consultancies to help us understand our application portfolio. So we had a wealth of information available to us, which was great. And so the approach was to use the data that we have. We've undergone a big data quality exercise. So Angie and our team has definitely been tearing her hair out around looking at that data quality. But it's been a very simple approach in terms of getting as much value from the proof of concept work that was done and all the imports, fix the data, and then engage with our stakeholders, so the application owners. And so it's an ongoing journey. But the team to implement, it was literally the three of us. So, it's as absolute positive of LeanIX that, to be able to use it so simply and get so much value so quickly is a very positive thing for us using it. The big work around the planning and what our organisation wants to do with each of the applications, that's the hard work. That's literally happening for us right now. So it's going to be an ongoing journey. We're about, I think, 6 months in since we actually started. So it's still a lot to be done, but definitely lots of areas lighting up, and particularly as we onboard the tech stack, relate back to the IT components, we'll see more quality come out of the information.
All right, Ross, we have a first question that is coming online. Did you have challenges getting application cost information?
Oh my gosh, yes we did. Yes, we did. So those spreadsheets of information, the finances for our applications were in multiple spreadsheets as well. And this is where Angie, I'm sure she's torn her hair out trying to bring all that information together. So, from your support costs to your license costs to, other hidden costs that are around your application, very hard to find. And the big ones, because we do a lot of on-premise application hosting, was understanding the infrastructure cost, because, you know, our data centers are all on premise, we own them. And so trying to establish that infrastructure cost has probably actually been the hardest piece. But finding the data for each of the applications around the cost, you know, in spend, literally line by line in our spend registers, where money was going out. So yeah, very difficult, but very much so your finance team will help you.
Are there any more questions? We still got some time left because our start into the day one was really brief and short. We have another question, an online question. Ross, did you use surveys to gather information from technical and business owners? And if so, did you get good involvement?
That's our next step. So we're going to use the questions that we've asked previously. So we've had a lot of engagement from our organisation around the business fit for the applications, and as well as from our technology organisation and our providers. So that's one of our next steps. We've just started to build out our questionnaires for our surveys, and yeah, so definitely we'll let you know how we go and see how we go, particularly now a lot of our application owners are working from home, so they might have a bit more time to put into those surveys.
All right, I will have a look inside our auditorium. There are no more questions on site in Bonn, and if I'm not wrong, there is no more question online. So at this point, keeping on track with our agenda, I'd like to say thank you very much to Queensland. Thank you very much to you, Ross Francis. It was a pleasure to have you starting the EA Connect Days 2020 powered by LeanIX.
Thank you very much. It was exciting for me as well. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Enjoy the afternoon.